The dark forest loomed around us, the trees stretching tall and imposing in the moonlight as my friends and I ventured deeper into the wilderness. We had set out for a 2-night camping trip, seeking adventure and escape from the stresses of everyday life. The night air was cool and crisp, the only sound the crackling of twigs beneath our boots and the distant hoot of an owl. As we made camp, the warmth of the fire flickering in the darkness, we settled in for the night. Laughter and camaraderie filled the air as we shared stories and jokes, the glow of the flames casting long shadows that danced on the forest floor. But as the hours slipped by and fatigue set in, a sense of unease crept over us, the darkness of the forest seeming to press in around our small circle of light. The fire crackled and popped, sending sparks into the night sky as we huddled close for warmth. The chill of the early hours seeped into our bones, the flickering flames casting eerie shadows on the trees that surrounded us. And then, as the clock struck 2 a.m., a sudden coldness settled over the clearing, the fire beginning to dwindle and dim. We shivered in the darkness, the warmth of the fire fading like a distant memory. A sense of foreboding washed over us, a feeling of being watched that sent a shiver down my spine. With a sense of urgency, I reached for more firewood, determined to stoke the flames and banish the encroaching cold. But as I turned back to the fire, a chill ran through me. Standing before us were 6 figures, their eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light in the darkness. Their faces were pale and unsmiling, their gazes fixed on us with a haunting intensity. The legend of the black-eyed children had become a terrifying reality before our eyes. Fear seized me as I realized the gravity of the situation. The black-eyed children were an urban legend, a spectral presence said to bring misfortune and death to those who encountered them. And here they stood, 6 of them, smiling with a malevolent glee that sent a chill down my spine. Without a word, my friends and I sprang into action, our hearts pounding in our chests as we made a frantic dash for the safety of our car. We left behind our gear, our tents, everything, as the urgency of escape overtook us. The forest seemed to close in around us, the darkness pressing down like a heavy weight as we ran, the sound of our footsteps echoing through the night. The black-eyed children pursued us, their eerie laughter haunting our every step. The moonlight filtered through the canopy above, casting twisted shadows on the forest floor as we raced towards the distant glow of the car's headlights. Adrenaline fueled our flight, our breath coming in ragged gasps as we pushed ourselves to outrun the spectral figures that chased us through the darkness. And then, just when it seemed that all hope was lost, we burst into the clearing where our car was parked, the engine roaring to life as we piled in, the tires screeching on the gravel as we made our escape. The black-eyed children faded into the darkness behind us, their haunting laughter echoing through the night as we sped away, leaving the nightmare of the forest far behind. As we drove, a sense of relief washed over us, the terror of the encounter slowly fading into the distance. We called the police and recounted the harrowing events that had unfolded in the dark forest, but when they arrived, there was no sign of the black-eyed children, no trace of the spectral figures that had pursued us through the night. As we settled back into the safety of civilization, the memory of the black-eyed children lingered in our minds, a reminder of the horrors that lurked in the darkness of the forest. And as we made our way back home, the dawn breaking over the horizon, I knew that the legend of the black-eyed children would forever haunt me, a chilling reminder of the darkness that dwells just beyond the edge of the light. The legend of La Llorona, the weeping woman, had haunted the stories and whispers of my friends for as long as I could remember. They spoke of a spectral figure, a woman in a white dress who roamed the dark forest, weeping for her lost children. I had always been skeptical of such tales, dismissing them as nothing more than superstition and folklore. But as the stories persisted, a nagging curiosity tugged at me, urging me to seek out the truth for myself. One night, as I sat with my friends around a crackling fire, the topic of La Llorona arose once again. They spoke in hushed tones of the legend, of the ghostly figure that haunted the woods, her cries echoing through the darkness. A sense of unease settled over me as I listened, the embers of the fire casting flickering shadows on their faces. Determined to unravel the mystery that had captivated my friends for so long, I made a decision. I would venture into the dark forest, armed with my special camera, to capture evidence of La Llorona's existence once and for all. With a sense of trepidation and excitement, I set out into the night, the moon hanging low in the sky like a pale eye watching my every move. The forest was alive with the sounds of the night, the rustling of leaves and the chirping of crickets filling the air. I navigated the twisting paths with a sense of purpose, my camera at the ready, determined to capture proof of the weeping woman's presence. The darkness seemed to press in around me, the trees looming tall and imposing in the moonlight as I made my way deeper into the heart of the forest. As I walked, I called out to my friends, updating them on my progress and sharing the eerie stillness of the night. But then, just as I reached the heart of the forest, my phone signal cut out, leaving me alone in the silence of the night. A sense of isolation washed over me, a feeling of being truly alone in the darkness. And then as I turned a corner, I saw her, La Llorona, the weeping woman, standing before me in a white dress, her form ethereal and ghostly in the moonlight. Her eyes were filled with tears, her cries echoing through the silent forest. I stood frozen in place, my heart pounding in my chest, unable to believe the sight before me. But my disbelief turned to terror as La Llorona charged towards me, her cries turning to shrieks of rage as she closed the distance between us. With a surge of adrenaline, I turned and ran, my camera clutched tightly in my hands as I made a desperate escape through the darkened woods. The sound of her wailing filled the air, a haunting symphony that seemed to follow me through the night. I ran as if my life depended on it, the branches scratching at my skin as I pushed myself to outrun the vengeful spirit that pursued me through the darkness. The moonlight filtered through the canopy above, casting twisted shadows on the forest floor as I raced towards the safety of the clearing. And then, just when it seemed that all hope was lost, I burst into the open, the moonlight bathing the clearing in a ghostly glow. With a final burst of speed, I made my way back to my car, leaving the camera behind in my haste to escape the clutches of La Llorona. I knew that I would have to return in the light of day to retrieve it, to see if I had captured evidence of the weeping woman's presence. As I drove away from the dark forest, the memory of La Llorona still fresh in my mind, I knew that I had experienced a brush with the supernatural that would forever haunt me. The legend of the weeping woman had become a chilling reality before my eyes, a reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the edge of the light. And as I made my way back home, the dawn breaking over the horizon, I couldn't shake the feeling that La Llorona's presence still lingered, waiting just beyond the reach of my dreams.